Welcome everyone to Summer Craig Jewelry. Today I have a special guest, Ashley Gann, and she is part of my Some Are Special series. This will be my fourth honoree, and I'm excited to introduce you to her and her nonprofit organization. She's an amazing person, has a great story that I wanted to publicize to all of you. Hopefully you'll feel as inspired as I was when I first learned about this nonprofit. The nonprofit name is Sweet Blessing, and it's Sweet Blessings.
Yes.
And I'm going to let her share with you her story about her nonprofit, how she got started, and a little bit about herself. So if you would, maybe share with them. I'll share with them how I found you.
Sure, go ahead.
So I was looking for an intern with my jewelry business back in December of last year, and I was going through applications from University of Kentucky students, and I saw on there a nonprofit, somebody had worked for you. I can't even recall the lady's name that I was looking at, but it sounded really interesting. It was a nonprofit that made cakes for children in poverty and children with terminal illness. And I went on her website because I was like, well, that's cool, because my girlfriend made amazing cakes in Illinois, and I thought, well, I'm going to see what these cakes look like. And I got on your website, and I was looking at these cakes, and I'm like, these are amazing, amazing New York style cakes. And I'm like, and she's making these for children in poverty and children with terminal illness. Like, I need to know more. So I sent her an email, and I'm like, I need to take you to coffee. Like, I want to learn more about your story. Like, what is this nonprofit? I never even heard of it. And I've been in Lexington since 2007, and I'm not from here, so I guess I don't know everything. But anyway, so I took her to coffee, and we were having this conversation. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So since that time, what was that? Like, probably
what, a year?
It was a while back.
Yeah.
So we've gotten State Farm on her side, and they've helped donate some awesome money this year to be a sponsor, and that was awesome. But anyway, share with them who you are and how this started, what it's all about.
Sure. Actually, you said you're not from Lexington. I'm from Frankfort.
Okay.
But I left in the late 90s and went to South Carolina, where I got my master's in public health. And now I make cakes with my master's degree. But everything was great and wonderful about, 10 years ago or so. And I decided that I was going to go back to school and get a doctorate. I mean, really, I didn't want to write a dissertation. It was kind of the craziest thing I'd ever thought of. But I decided that that's what I was going to do. And going through the process of applying and where are we going to live, what are we going to do, I was all stressed out and was watching the Today Show one day. And they had a segment on what they called vocation vacations. So basically, take a week off work and go do something you always thought would be exciting. You know, if you thought, I would really love to learn how to build a house, we'll just take off work and go work for Habitat for a week. And I'm just sitting there, it's like, no, public health, that's it. That's all I want to do. And then I was like, I'll make cakes. It was as if God threw a brick from heaven hit me head. I remember it like it was yesterday, and I'd never done anything like that before.
That's what I was going to say. Tell them that you've never even made cakes.
I had done like the whole clear casserole dish, like everybody does.
Right.
Make the cake, the box mix, throw it in there. Don't even take the cake out of the pan, just a plastic tub of frosting for Walmart, and that was it. That's all I'd ever done. But I was always a crafty kid, and I loved watching Ace of Cakes, So this was back when that was a, really hot show, and I was like, that's it. So I became a little bit obsessed, which, a little bit of a family trait for the Boyd women. And, I was going online looking at cakes, and I found a community ed class that I took and learned how to make little buttercream roses and everything. And my husband and I, we really just felt that God put cakes in my life for a reason. Didn't know why, didn't know what that was, but we just knew. It's kind of one of those things. And so eventually we moved back to Kentucky. And when I tell the story, one thing that nobody ever asked was, well, what happened to graduate school?
Yeah.
So we've been doing a study in church in Sunday school talking about just how wonderful God is and how much He loves us and He cares for us. And it always makes me think of this because I applied to University of South Carolina and University of Kentucky. I interviewed at UK, and I didn't get a letter back from either school. which was really strange. You go to the mailbox every day, where's my letter? And I never got one. So I finally called UK and found out that they said I wasn't even considered because I didn't get my GRE score. Of course, the GRE company said they sent it, and it was in batch number 1, 2, 3 or whatever, but UK never got it. And so I was like, okay, that's interesting. And the University of South Carolina, I even had a recommendation from the dean of the school. Never got a letter if I was accepted or not. Finally was able to track down the person in charge of doctoral students. And he said, I wasn't at that meeting, so I had to find out what happened. There isn't a professor with your interests who can take on a student right now. Please come next week and see me, and we'll find a professor to work with you. And I said, no, that's okay. Because God worked it out. If I had gone back to school, I'd have never done anything with cakes. And he looked out for my ego because I would have been crushed. Like, I didn't get in, So he orchestrated the whole thing. So we decided instead to move back to Kentucky to get my kids closer to family. And I went to culinary school. There would have been no way I could have gotten a job as wonderful as the one I had in South Carolina. And so I was like, okay, God, thank you. We figured it out. The whole reason for cakes was for me to go into culinary school, and then I'd come back to Kentucky to be by family. So I did that. I went to culinary school for 3 quarters, and then I dropped out. And I dropped out. My mother hates it when I tell people I'm a culinary school dropout. She's like, oh, please tell me you at least said, but I have a master's degree. It's okay, Mom. It's all right. But then I got a job in the public health field. I had 2 little kids. And if I kept going in culinary school, I'd have to drive from Lexington to Louisville 4 or 5 days a week and just hope to get a job when I got out. And I had 2 preschool age kids. And this job, I wasn't even looking for a job. It kind of found me. Looked like they had looked at my resume and written the job description from that. So I left culinary school and took a job as the state's expert on underage drinking prevention. And did that for a while and didn't make cakes for a year. And then my daughter had a birthday and I made her cake and everybody started talking about cake again. God, we thought we had this figured out. Like, really? What is it? So about a couple of years later, it was like it wasn't going away. So I left my job and went to work in a high-end cake shop over wedding season. And we promised the owners that I would stay there for 6 months through wedding season. We really promised ourselves that we would pray like never before about what is this cake thing in my life. And about 3 months in, I realized I'd never been more miserable in my life. It wasn't the people, they were wonderful. The work was wonderful. But God used that. I mean, if I had been content where I was, how would I be moved to keep following him? It had to make me uncomfortable.
Right.
But that was when I really felt God speaking to me and telling me I need to spend more time making a difference and less time making a living. And I finally figured that out one day in church. And the pastor was talking about inner city outreach in downtown Lexington. And that's when it clicked. I was supposed to use cake to reach out to children and families in downtown Lexington. So I never decided.
And that was when?
That was in 2010.
2010. Okay.
And so.
But you didn't really know what that meant exactly, right? I mean, how did you figure it out to do what you're doing now?
Every day, I never really decided to start Sweet Blessings. It's just like every day I got up and took the next step. And I didn't know if it was just going to be me making a cake every once in a while for my church to give to a family that the church knew about. I didn't know. We just kept, again, every day got up and took the next step. And our very first cake was in February of 2011. It was actually for a little boy at the Ronald McDonald House here in Lexington. And he had been living there for over a year. He had had a traumatic brain injury from a car accident and needed a whole lot of medical attention. So he had been living at the Ronald McDonald House. And in all honesty, I didn't even want to go to my meeting at the Ronald McDonald House. It was snowing. The kids, I'm sure, were going to be called out of school at the last second, and I'd have to run out of my meeting. And I had heard that the Ronald McDonald House here in Lexington really served mostly families with children in the NICU.
Okay.
So making a birthday cake wasn't really a good fit for them. Yeah. But I went anyway, and they ended up being our very first referral. And that was February 26th of 2011.
Wow. So then how many cakes have you been doing since then? Because you've done several.
We've done a few. Well, 2011, our very first year, we made cakes for 163 children.
Wow.
So that was, now to do math on the fly, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We went from 163 to over 600 in our second year.
Wow.
But last year, in 2016, we made cakes for 2,215 children throughout Central Kentucky.
2,000, how many?
215.
Wow. That's a lot of cakes. That's a lot of children excited.
You know, we don't see the children, but you can
That's
just
right,
imagine
yeah.
what it would be like.
Let's show them the cake.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is one example of, I mean, these are seriously, and it's really cool to see the volunteers all helping together, because we did that for a day. We took the kids on one of the days off that they had on a Tuesday. But it was so cool to see all the volunteers. They're really like a close group of, there's a lot of family in there, like people that have been doing it for years, right?
Our regular volunteers are family to one another.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone through weddings, births, cancer, death.
Wow.
As a family, doing community together, doing life together for our regular volunteers. But we also have other volunteers that may just pop in once.
Yeah.
Or maybe their group will come and volunteer together. So it's a big mix.
And you do not have to know how to make cakes whatsoever, because she'll teach you everything you need to know.
If you can use a cookie cutter, you can do this. I promise.
Yeah. So this is your unicorn cake, I guess.
Unicorns are very popular these days.
Ella's going to be a unicorn for Halloween. She loves unicorns.
That's what my daughter's going to be.
Oh, really?
And this is pretty typical of our cakes. They're all either multiple tiers or three-dimensional.
Okay.
One of my all-time favorite three-dimensional ones, we actually made one like it this week, is a great white shark jumping out of the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who designs these cakes?
I design most of them.
You do? Okay.
However, or Google Images designs them. But our regular volunteers, I mean, we have one volunteer that's been with us from like our second cake. And several others who've been with us like 6 years. They really develop skill the more they come.
Yeah.
And so for them, I can just say, Joy, I have a girly cake, and Joy, phenomenal. Anything girly, she's great. And so she'll design from that.
Okay.
Or like last week, we had one for a girl who always had wanted to go to Paris. That is her dream. And so I had seen like a box in a store that had this whole Paris thing. So I took a picture of it and texted it to Joy. I was like, can you do this on a cake? So she hand painted the cake for this whole Paris thing. It was beautiful.
Now, how do you find out what the children's interests are? Like, what is the process for these children to get a cake?
Sure.
Because I thought that was pretty cool, too.
Yeah, we work on a referral basis. So it has to be a church, school, or some sort of a service provider who makes the referral to us. And they know the children and the families better. They know if they qualify. They know if this is something that will really touch their heart. And so they send us a referral form that asks about the child. What are their favorite colors? What do they want to be when they grow up? Hobbies, sports teams, cartoons, you name it. And from that, we design the cake. And we ask our referral source to tell us about the child, not the cake they want the child to have.
Right.
So that gives us a lot of leeway where design is concerned.
Yeah. Because you don't have 50 million designs. I mean, you got to keep this somewhat simplified.
Well,
right?
and that allows us, if it's, a huge, crazy day where we have 70 cakes to make, we can simplify design. They'll still meet our basic criteria, fondant covered, multiple tiers, custom made, but maybe it just isn't as a time-consuming design.
Right.
But it's still custom.
Okay.
And then, it also allows our regular volunteers, some of them save pictures. Like, I saw this 3 years ago and I thought it was really cool. And then we get a referral that picture fits this kid, and they just run with it.
So they just create it on the fly.
Yep. We took out everything on the fly. I mean, it's all.
Well, when I was there, you guys had your, okay, this is a flower cake, so we're going to do these flowers. I mean, you have some set ones, but then I guess a lot of them are on the fly. I saw one of your volunteers, she pulled out her phone and was showing me all the ones over the years. I'm like, these are really amazing.
We do. We have what we call spec cakes.
Yeah.
And those are cakes for designs that are really, really popular. And the techniques that you use are very easy. This is going to be one of our new spec cakes because unicorns are so popular right now.
They are.
And so these are cookie cutters. And the mane, the horn, everything. If you could roll a snake out of Play-Doh,
Yeah, exactly. It's not hard.
No.
Yeah. Well, and then this cake is another example.
Yep.
Explain this one to us.
Wrestling has not gone out of style. And I remember being in the 8th grade, and Terry Taylor was the big deal, and all the girls loved wrestling. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But apparently wrestling is still
You're dating
popular.
yourself.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. So we get a lot that kids who like WWE, maybe they want to grow up to be a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, this is our wrestling ring and then the whole wrestling belt. So we have a champion here. They've won.
Awesome.
And this one, this one's big enough to serve, a classroom.
Yeah. And then I asked you, so tell me what's been the most exciting part of this? Like, you get to see these kids' faces when they first get your cake. And you said to me something that I thought was so cool.
We don't see the children.
Yeah.
We don't meet them.
Yeah.
Our delivery drivers take them back to the referral source because you know what? If I took the cake and gave it to them, that child would look at me and go, "Oh, you made the cake." It's not about us.
Yeah.
It's about the child.
Yeah.
So if we are totally removed from the process, that makes the focus on that child.
Yeah. And you've said that hearts have been changed through the making of these cakes. Explain that a little bit further.
I have just been totally amazed about how God can use a little bit of cake and a lot of love to just totally change somebody's life.
Yeah.
And everybody always asks, well, what's, one that you'll always remember? And there's one that I think, it was probably our first year that this happened. And anybody who was around Sweet Blessings then still remembers Amber's story. I got an email one day from the social worker.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really funny. It's this big, long email. And I was just like, just what do you want? Tell me. So they wanted to get a cake for a little girl named Amber. She was a 5th grader. And Amber had a very, very tough time making friends because she, since kindergarten, had a chronic case of lice. 6 years this little girl had lice.
Oh, no.
And that fall, she had started to make a friend, but the friend kept getting lice. So her parents took her out of that school. So they had decided, wow, what a wonderful thing, a great social opportunity to have a big cake in the classroom for Amber to share and to really make friends. And sweet thing, she told the social worker she didn't want to, for once in her life, get what she called a fancy, fancy cake and her family not be able to get any.
Aww.
So you know what we did, right?
Yeah.
2 cakes.
Oh, you did?
She got 2 cakes. She got a 3-tier, so it was this tall.
Aww.
3-tier cake, mermaid theme, because that's what she loved, to share in the classroom. And then a little 1-tier cake to take home and share with her family. And I just got this email from the social worker saying, we're all crying right now.
Aww.
Amber got her cake, and all the children in the class were like, Amber, you're so lucky. Nobody in her life had ever called her lucky.
Wow.
And these children who for 6 years had bullied her and been mean to her, they went home and made homemade birthday cards.
Aww.
The next morning they brought her presents.
Aww.
And elementary school, they announced everybody's birthday in the morning. The girl doing the announcements refused to announce Amber's name.
Huh.
But the biggest bully in her class took up for her. And all these children found value in her because the cake, it wasn't us, but we were just the catalyst to kind of change this whole perception. And that was really the first time that we saw the power of what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. All the love in one cake.
That's right.
Such a neat organization. So I definitely wanted to highlight her and the Sweet Blessings organization because all of us, I don't know. I don't know of all the different opportunities there are to serve in the community, but this is one, if you have time on a Tuesday, whether it's in the morning, you guys start 8 o'clock in the morning and go through 8 o'clock at night?
We start,
or sometimes later, depending how many cakes, like a 70 cake day. What does that mean?
Actually, we work Mondays in Frankfurt.
Okay. Yeah.
And we start at 9 a.m. and go until we finish, which there's usually about 2 or 3. In Lexington, that's our busiest location. Volunteers start rolling in around 9, and we go until we're finished. Yesterday, we worked until 9 p.m.
Okay.
And it all depends on how many referrals we have, how many volunteers we have, we just keep going till we're done.
Awesome.
And then we also work on Thursdays in Harrisburg.
Yeah, so you're now in 3 different counties.
3 different towns, and we make cakes for kids in 18 to 20 counties for the past few years.
And it's children Any ages, elementary school age, and then with in poverty and illness and disabilities, you said?
Yes,
right?
we serve children 4 all the way up through high school.
Okay.
And we start at 4 because our primary target here is the child.
Right.
And somebody younger than that, they don't understand that this is something special.
Right.
And then we go all the way through high school, which means, like, for a child with special needs, they can stay in public school until they turn 21. So I think we're making a cake for an 18-year-old next week.
Oh, wow.
But it's an 18-year-old with special needs and, probably doesn't have the mental capacity of a normal, traditional 18-year-old. Mm-hmm. And so it really just kind of depends on the individual child situation.
Would you say that most of the schooling areas, like most of the schools, know about Sweet Blessings?
Most of the schools know about us throughout Central Kentucky.
Okay.
There's always turnover, so that's hard to kind of reach back out to everybody at the beginning of the year once the turnover has happened. So we will actually accept referrals from, any school, any church, any service agency.
Okay.
Because we'll get referrals from foster care agencies,
mm-hmm.
UK Children's Hospital, we get referrals from them. It might be Salvation Army, it could be shelters in lots of different places make referrals to us. As long as we can work out delivery, that's the big issue, is how do we get the cake to the referral source. If we can work out delivery, it doesn't matter where the child lives.
Okay. And then how do they get the application? Do they go to your website or?
Actually, an individual who wants to make a referral, they can go to the website and contact me, either through the contact form or just my email, which is ashley@sweetblessingscakes.org, and request that referral form.
Okay. And your website is sweetblessingscake.org, and we'll put that in the link below the live too.
Perfect. Yep. All you have to do is contact me, and then I'll get that referral form to them.
Okay.
And then it's all done by email. They just email the form back to me, and the cake shows up on their delivery day, and they get to give it to the child.
Awesome. That's so exciting. It's such a neat story. I love what you do, and it's crazy to know that you are somebody that had no clue really how to make cakes to this. I mean, it's just a fun story to hear that you devoted your career, if you will, to making cakes to make a difference. What did you say earlier? You said you were...
Spend more time making a difference and less time making a living.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I love that.
Absolutely.
So I am honoring Ashley. She is my Some Are Special series honoree, and I designed a set of jewelry in her colors. So if you go to Sweet Blessings on Facebook, you'll see her logo colors. And so I created, and you'll see a collection on my website. I'll put a link, but all like 40% of the proceeds are going to go to her organization in the collection. Oh, what am I doing? I'm opening up your gift.
Oh, wait, do that again.
So I have earrings. I wanted you to choose what earrings you like the best, and then bracelet and necklace too. So take a look and tell me what you think.
Okay, which do I start with?
Well, let's see here.
She's gonna do the shell game and mix
Okay,
them all up.
Let's do this one first. Let's move the cakes out of the way. This will be
there we go.
hard for them to see maybe, but we'll show pictures on the post below.
Oh yeah, this is beautiful.
So this is a blue and green and some Swarovski crystal. It's orange. And so those are her colors for her organization. And that's demorturite and jade and Swarovski crystal. So
yeah, I can hold it up
that
like this, but you won't be able
But yeah, you won't be able to see it as well.
You won't be able to see the jade.
Yeah.
And then you not wear a green screen. That would be really bad.
Yeah. We could still put it on though.
Okay.
Let's see. And then you can wear it with or without the pendant. So.
Oh, see, now that's great.
Yeah.
And then you could.
It'd be fun to do it that way.
That also helps you to accent the different colors, because without the pendant, if you were going more for the green.
Yeah, that's true.
So cake decorating has a lot to do with color. So that's why I'm like, ooh.
So that actually looks good with that. And it's
Beautiful.
dressy or casual. It's like a casual piece, but you can dress it up if you want to as well. Yeah.
Beautiful.
You guys like it? We'll show you a picture of it below the live post. So that's that. Awesome.
Fun.
And then, yep, this is another piece here.
Feels like Christmas. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, and that has a lot of different stones in it. Like it's smoky quartz and jade and Swarovski pearl, and then aventurine, and then hammered sterling steel metal. Tiger eyes in that as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a little tiger eye stone right there.
You can wear that with a lot.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like it would go with a lot of different things.
Don't wear this and decorate cakes at the same time.
Right. It has a little fun dangle on it.
That is fun.
You like it?
I do like it.
Awesome. And it's easy to get on and off too. I like bracelets that you can get on and off yourself.
That's nice.
We'll just keep on you because it matches your outfit.
I'm going to be all decked out here.
Yeah, you are. And then pick out your earrings because everybody has different earring style, taste, and everything. So I made, how many did I make? I made 4 options. And all of this is on summercraig.com. You guys can go take a look. Summercraig.com. And then if you go to jewelry and then collections, all jewelry, and then you'll see collections. And the first collection is the Sweet Blessing Cake collection.
So pretty.
So, yeah. So if you like anything you see,
You're not
40% goes to her nonprofit, guys.
So pretty.
Which ones do you think you like the best?
Oh, well, now you know, since I came in wearing my lime, we got to go for the lime.
All lime, yeah.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are cute.
Those are pretty.
Okay.
And people will look at me either orange or lime, like, that's your favorite color, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's yellow, and it has been my whole life, but the lime and the orange match our logo, so that's what I wear all the time.
Awesome.
I love these. These are awesome.
Oh, good.
Very pretty. The teardrop up. They can't see that. I'm sorry, you can't see that.
I know.
It's
They'll
so
be able to see it. Well, yeah, we have to get
beautiful.
more sophisticated with, showing these things beforehand, I guess. But we'll put a link below.
They are
Yeah,
beautiful.
we'll have the page.
Absolutely. Of course, I'm holding them like this, which doesn't help at all. Sorry.
Yeah. And then I had this made, guys. Can you see that? It's
Cute.
It's made out of oak, and it's the cake. It's her logo. It's the cake logo. And so I put her colors, all the stones, and that's a keychain. So you'll be able to see that on the website as well. So
Very cute.
fun keychain for.
I mean, that is so fun.
I really enjoyed designing these things for you and just want to thank you for the difference that you're making in children's lives. I just think it's so amazing to have people like you in this world that are making a difference and change. You are the change that we want to see in the world, and that's my whole purpose, is to find people like you and honor them by custom creating a set of jewelry and just showcasing who you are and what you're about and the difference that you're making. So
You're just so sweet.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
and we will get lots of people to volunteer at Sweet Blessing Cakes because it's an awesome, fun time to bring your family, bring your friends, and it sounds like they're always in need of more helping hands. So we'll put all the links. You can go out to her Facebook page, just search in the top bar, Sweet Blessings Cake.
Yes.
Lex or something, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But you'll find it to learn more. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.